Hey, this video is going to be off the cuff and definitely not scripted, but I just feel so strongly about this, and you guys know sometimes I get worked up and I gotta just share something with you. So this is my thought for today, and I don't know if you have heard before. I feel like I have come across in so many personal growth books, because I read tons and tons and tons of books about like intentional living and time management. I don't know if you've ever come across the list of the top 5 regrets of the dying. And I know that that sounds morbid, but like, hey, we're Christians. We know that we're going to die, so let's just talk about it, okay? We don't have to run away from it, and we know what happens when we die. But anyway, there was a nurse who cared for people, Bronnie Ware, and she cared for people at the end of their life, and she was a nurse, like a palliative nurse, if I'm saying that right. And she noticed that as she was caring for people, that one of the most common things they would do is share their regrets about their life with her, which, oh, just like, wow. Makes me feel sad to even think that like that was one of the most common things that they talked about with her at the end of their life, was their regrets. And she noticed that there were these very, very common themes in those regrets, and she wrote a book about it, about the top 5 regrets of the dying. And I've never read the book, but I've come across this list, especially number 1, the most common regret, over and over and over and over again in books, to the point where I have it memorized. And here it is. The most common regret that people have is, I wish I had lived a life true to myself, not the life that others expected of me. And if you're curious, I printed out the rest of them too. Number 2, the second most common regret of people who were on their deathbed, literally, was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Number 3, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And number 5, I wish that I had let myself be happier. And I feel like as a Christian, that last one, like, okay, we're not just all about chasing happiness, but do we sacrifice the enjoyment of God's good gifts in our life for the sake of just trying to like get things done or hustle or achieve? Do we sacrifice enjoying our family, enjoying people, and just the incredible blessings that God has given us? Enjoying like food. Yes, we do. We're like scarfing it down in the car, hustling, rushing. So anyway, with that in mind, I just want to like, let's just be really real right here. Let's just think about, what would you regret if you knew that you didn't have much time left? Or if your life continues on the path that it is on now, with the way you spend your time now, the choices you make now, what will you regret when you are at the end of your life? And if you know the answers to some of those things, then heck, let's do something about it. Let's not just let this path continue the way it is. Now, okay, as Christians, first of all, we will probably all have some regrets to an extent, because we're sinful, we're not human, and we don't always have a crystal ball into the future to always know like the best decision to make in every scenario. So we probably will have some regrets. And you know what? We're going to have regrets probably over sins and stupid things that we did that we wish we could take back. But we know that Jesus has covered that. So that's beautiful. I'm not saying that the whole point of life is just about this life and about making sure we get to the end of our life and that we have no regrets and that we have to try to avoid having any regrets whatsoever. No, of course not. But because we know that this life is not all there is, because we know that there's a bigger meaning to it, and because we do have influence over a lot of things, we can't avoid all regrets, but we can certainly avoid some. Let's do something about them. I will tell you, probably the number 1 thing that I think I would regret if I didn't do this, and I am doing this, but I still have more years ahead of me of having to do this thing. The number 1 thing I think I would regret later in my life, if I didn't do it and really put in intention and effort and prayer, would be truly cultivating faith in my kids. I cannot tell you how much that matters to me. It matters more to me than just about everything. And I want so badly to not just let these years fly by and get to the point where I'm launching my kids off into college and feeling like, oh my gosh, like I hope they're ready for this. Like, did I teach them how to pray? Did we have like deep conversations about how to show people love who like think very differently from you? Do I feel like they like really know God and like actually care about him and have a relationship with him? Did I model for my kids what it looks like to be a sinner, but a dearly beloved sinner who is walking in grace and trying to follow Jesus? Like, I would regret that so much if I didn't do that. And so I put a lot of work into, and it's not just on me, obviously, that's ultimately the Holy Spirit's job, but I put a lot of effort into that. I know I would also regret getting to a point where I realized, wow, I've kind of just like let my marriage slide. Like it's just, like we're still married, but it's kind of like meh. What else would I regret? I would regret if I did not put in a lot of effort with my neighbors and really view myself as a missionary in the place where I live. And like all those three things I just mentioned, I'm doing those things, but they're still in progress, right? And they're things that if I don't really make an effort and really get, honestly, sometimes ruthless, I do not have really the time or the bandwidth or the energy, the margin to do those things. So what are those things for you? Let's do something about it. Please, please, I'm begging you. If you know that there's something meaningful, especially if it has an eternal significance, and you know that you would regret if you didn't do that thing, like do whatever it takes to be able to make time and energy for that thing. Obviously, speaking of regrets, you will not regret that. You will not regret, deciding to have your kids in less activities or you working less or whatever. In fact, a lot of people, wish that they hadn't worked so hard. You will not regret giving up the lesser things for the very, very best things. It's so funny because I am rereading Essentialism, one of my favorite books ever, which I reread over and over because I need to continually pound into my head to choose the very, very best and the most important and live true to how God made me and true to his word and all that kind of stuff in a world that's full of opportunities and distractions. So I was rereading this. I was going to make this video for you guys a few days ago, and then something more important came up, so I didn't. And but last night I was reading this part in Essentialism, and he literally talked about the number one regret of the dying. Like I said, it's in so many books. And then this paragraph I thought was so good. He said, I challenge you here and now to make a commitment to make room to enjoy the essential. Do you think for 1 second you will regret such a decision? Is it at all likely you will wake up one day and say, I wish I had been less true to myself and had done all the non-essential things others expected of me? And it's like, yeah, no, obviously not. Obviously not. But I know that that's hard. And so I want to help you with this. And I created a brand new free workshop that is coming up very, very soon. I put the link to it with this video so that you can choose a time slot and register. If you can't make it live, if you see the time slots and you're like, oh, can't sign up, I'm not free during those times, sign up anyway. We will send you a replay. But the workshop is called How to Get Off the To-Do List Hamster Wheel. And we're going to talk about 3 very, very common mistakes, but they are not obvious mistakes. But they're very common mistakes that I see people making that are robbing you of that precious time for what really matters. And so if you are someone who wants to make more time for the stuff that matters, and you've been trying to hack together systems and get routines in place, or if you're the kind of person who's I'm too much of a hot mess to even attempt any of these systems and routines that these other moms and women in my life are talking about, you need to be on this workshop. It's not just for moms, but it's for Christian women who are burned out and who want to have more time for what matters. And in 60 minutes or less, I can guarantee you, you are going to have not just a huge mindset shift in how you view things, but you're going to leave pumped up, inspired. We're going to have fun. It's going to get feisty and passionate and real. We're going to talk about Jesus. We're going to talk about the stuff that really matters. And I'm going to give you practical ways to put that in place too. So I'm not just going to help you view things differently, but okay, how do you take that now? And how do you truly make time for the stuff that matters so you don't have regrets? So please, please, please come join me. Take a step. Do something different. We all talk about how we want these areas of our life to be different. If you really want it to be different, then you need to do something. And maybe you've been doing a lot of things that have not been working, and so maybe it's time to try something different. If you haven't taken this workshop before, that could be the different thing that you might want to try. And no one has, because this is the first time I'm offering this specific one with this topic. I'm so excited. I've been working so hard on this for you guys, thinking of all of you that I know. There are thousands of you that I know by name that I've talked to on Facebook or over email, and I've been thinking of all of you as I've been crafting this, like, what is going to help her? What is going to help Amy? What is going to help Jessica? Like, thinking of you guys specifically, what do you need to really help you break free? So come and join me. It's going to be great. All right, I will talk to you soon. I will see you very soon on one of those workshops. Bye.